this video, I will be talking about Model Context Protocol from a Dataverse perspective. Now, how do you connect a client application from a different vendor to a Dataverse database using Model Context Protocol? Now, MCP Model Context Protocol, it's an open protocol that enables an integration between different LLM application and external data sources, services, or tools. I've already covered a separate video about what is MCP, so you can have a look into that video. It is basically an integration standardization. It allows streamlining the interaction between AI models and the Dataverse data. Now, I've just taken you an example of Dataverse data, but it can be any database, it can be any service, it can be any tools through which a specific outcome can be achieved. Now, the specific engagement would be around MCP, around Dataverse, but this can be MCP around some any other third-party system as well. So, the whole goal of Model Context Protocol is to have that seamless integration between different vendors, different providers, services, or tools. It makes it more efficient and more effective for developers to apply the Dataverse rich data capability. Now, an example would be like, say, if you are using a third party system, say, take for example, you're using, say, Claude AI or Claude LLM, like a Sonnet or Haiku, and you want to use that LLM to query Dataverse database, which is proprietary database of, say, Microsoft. Now you can perform that operation on, say, your uh, say Cloud Desktop. Now, Cloud Desktop belongs to Anthropic, Microsoft Dataverse, and you are making that seamless connection using Model Context Protocol. So that's a standardization technique, basically, to query different services. Uh, MCP tools that are available in Dataverse, like once you, this is a screenshot of Copilot Studio connected to a Dataverse MCP server. And once you connect a Dataverse MCP server, you can list down the table, you can describe the table, you can read data from a table, you can create or update the record, you can list and execute the prompts, you can list the knowledge source, you can retrieve knowledge. So these are the operations which you can perform. Now there might be many actions which might be coming soon in the near future, but the whole purpose for this particular video is to explain you how you can connect the Dataverse MCP server to a third party client applications. Now use case is, you can show me list of contacts, you can ask show me list of contacts, how many contacts, contacts with no email address, add record to table, create a record, list the total tables, and endless. You can ask any specific question limited to the actions that are available when you connect to a Dataverse MCP server. uh, Now we need to use, say, one tool which is named as Claude. Now I'll show you how that tool will look like. I've already covered a separate video on what is a Claude desktop tool, so you can have a look into that as well. Now the step is to first configure the settings in the Claude desktop tool. Now here you need to do some sort of a changes in the connection URL, the server name, and then once you are set, it will authenticate. Now there might be a scenario whereby it will make the connection fail, because what I've done over here is, like, I just made a connection to the Power Apps, just to play around with and see that whether the connection through Power Apps is, like, say, does it like putting that in the settings area, and it really didn't like, and then that's why you can see that it has given me a response as failed. So there are some gotchas, so I'll explain you that once I set up that services. Switching server, so what you can get once you connect in the Cloud Desktop, a Cloud Desktop basically answers general questions about the day-to-day activity or world affairs, but you can now connect your own custom server, which is a Dataverse MCP server, and then you can ask questions now specific to the uh, database Dataverse. It will authenticate, it will ask for the permission for that external integration, and once you give that context and authorization information, then it will start giving you the response back. So I've asked one question: scheme of airlines table, how many records in airlines table. So these all things we will just execute. It can also allow you to create various charts as well. So it has given a nice pie chart, but we can do other charts as well. And then you can even create a record which gives you the record ID. So MCP server with Claude, there are steps. You need to first create a Dataverse connection. That's the first one. Install the Dataverse MCP local server proxy, extract the tenant ID, and then there are some set of configuration which you need to do in your local PC is installing .NET SDK 8 and installing the tool uh, from NuGet Microsoft.powerplatform.dataverse.mcp, which I will guide you through in this process. Once you install that tool, this is how the interface will look like. It's a command prompt execution, so you need to make use of command prompt, execute that tool. It will install .NET, it will install the Power Platform Dataverse MCP, and then once that is done, everything is connected. And there are some other things which you can perform using Copilot Studio Dataverse MCP. So there is a direct connection available. Now this has nothing to do with which I'm what I'm going to show, but then I'm just giving some additional information in terms of you can even connect Microsoft Dataverse MCP to the Copilot Studio, and this is how you can filter out on various information on model context protocol. So this service is available for most of the Microsoft services like Dynamics 365 Sales, Customer Service, Contact Center, ERP, and there are three connectors for email management, meeting management, contact management for Outlook. So let's jump into the demo. So before we even navigate, first let's understand what this model context protocol is. So if you want to know more about model context protocol, navigate to modelcontextprotocol.io. There's a nice bit of information along with the diagram provided by Anthropic. So you can have a read through that. Now the thing which we're going to install is through NuGet Gallery. So in NuGet Gallery, we have Microsoft.powerplatform.dataverse.mcp. So if you search for this and if you want to know some more information, you can navigate to more information, and then you can see that this package contains official Dataverse MCP server. You can chat over your business data using natural language. You can discover tables, run queries, retrieve data, insert or update record, and execute custom prompts grounded in business knowledge and context. Just wanted to show you from a Dataverse perspective on Copilot Studio. Now in Copilot Studio, you can add a tool, and then from there you can see all the MCP. Now I'll cover this in a separate video altogether, but this is just for your information. Now, if you want to read some more information from a documentation perspective, navigate to learn.microsoft.com and then extend your agent with model context protocol. Here, they have given a nice documentation around how you can configure the MCP servers and what are the different MCP connection point available. Okay, so for the sake of this exercise, let's first install the Claude tool. Now, I have already covered a separate video on how to install the Claude tool, Claude Desktop. I have already installed it, and this is how the Claude Desktop tool looks like. So you can ask a general query over here. So I can ask how to plan a birthday party. Now this is a generic information, so you can ask all those generic questions to Claude, and Claude will respond based on the LLMs configured. Now this is not what we want. What we want is I want to ask through the Claude interface. Now, Claude belongs to Anthropic. Okay, so Anthropic is a company which provides AI based services. Now, I want to use Anthropic services to connect to Microsoft Dataverse and respond over here. Now, Anthropic will, the cloud based services may not be able to answer any question related to your Dataverse environment, right? So the goal is to set up those environment. Now, how to do that? You click here, search and tools. And now, as you see use style and web search. There's nothing else over here. So what will happen once we configure? We will get an option over here to select the MCP server which we have just installed and select all the actions that are available, and then we can query or ask anything related to our Dataverse server. Now just to give you context of the Dataverse application, so I have this Dataverse environment which has a lot of tables in it. So let me quickly sign in. Yeah, so as you see, I have various Dataverse database. So let me show you, let me go back over here and then go to tables. And as you see over here, I have accounts, I have contacts. So I'm specifically referring to the Girish Dev environment, and I have so many tables like airlines, aircraft model, account, contacts. So all out of the box, some custom. So all these things are available. Now, what I want is the Claude Desktop to answer based on this particular environment. Now, in order to do that, first thing we need to perform some operations. So in Claude, we need to do some settings over here. So before we go into the Claude, there are some things which you need to install in your desktop. Now, so first, go to command prompt. So I'll just type in cmd command prompt. You can run as an administrator mode, and then you can navigate to the root directory or any directory which you want, and then you need to execute some commands. So the first one which you need to do is winget install microsoft.net.sdk.8. Now I have already installed, so there's nothing which needs to be done. So it will just find, and then it will start installing .NET SDK.8 if it is not installed in the system. Now it says found an existing package already installed, trying to upgrade the installed package, no upgrade found, so all good. So this you will not, so if you're installing it for the first time, you will not get this message. It will install within your system. So first step, install .NET SDK 8. Clear the screen, and then as I mentioned to you about this new get gallery package, right? You need to install microsoft.powerplatform.dataverse.mcp. Now, there are multiple ways to install that, but we will go through the command line, and you just need to make use of this command. So I'll just copy this command over here. It says .NET tool install global add source, and this is that URL through which that NuGet gallery can extract microsoft.powerplatform.dataverse.mcp package. Now I have already installed this, but if you press enter, then it will start installing the Dataverse MCP server. If it doesn't exist, now it says it already has a stable version 0.2.310025. So all good from an installation perspective. Two things: we installed .NET SDK 8, and we installed the Power Platform Dataverse MCP server. So that's all good from a command prompt perspective. Now let's go into the Claude tool. Now in the Claude tool, if you click in this hamburger icon, click on file, click on settings, go to developer. Now here MCP is a protocol that enables secure connection between clients such as Claude desktop app and local services. Click on edit config. Once you click on edit config, it will take you to the Windows Explorer, and it will take you to this file, Claude underscore desktop underscore config dot JSON. Now let me open this file, but before we open this file, so let me show you this file, how this file will look like. Now I've already I'm opening this in Visual Studio Code. So as you see, it is asking, it is basically an empty MCP server list, right? It is like a JSON format. Now if you want to put those configuration over here, now let me navigate you to Claude MCP Dataverse integration. So connect to Dataverse with Model Context Protocol preview. Now here, as you scroll down, you should be able to see a piece of JSON. Now we just need to copy this piece of JSON and navigate to that config file and overwrite it if you are doing it for the first time. So let's see what does this all mean. Okay, so first thing, this is okay, this is MCP servers, and this is the first item of that MCP server. So if you see this curly braces, this is the first item of MCP server. Now you can have multiple MCP servers, so you can have one record, two record, three record, four record, whatever you want. Okay, what you need to do over here is, first thing, make change in the friendly name. So I'll make it something meaningful, or which I can identify easily. I will just say Girish MCP Dataverse, and maybe I can just put whatever, June, July, or whatever over here. So I'll just say Girish MCP Dataverse. Then in the connection URL, here we need to change the data connection. and here we need to change the tenant ID. Okay, so let's fetch those both. So in order to get the tenant ID, I will navigate to make.powerapps.com, and then from here click on setting icon, go to session details, and then from here I can copy the tenant ID. So let me copy this tenant ID and paste it over here. So that's a tenant ID. With regards to connection URL, there is a bit of thing which you need to understand, that in make.powerapps.com, if you navigate to connections, so first thing you need to have that connection established. Now I already have a connection to Microsoft Dataverse. I can pick any of this. Okay. Now if you navigate to say one of the connection, you need to copy the URL and then use it. But don't do that, because I know that you can navigate to connection using make.powerapps.com, as well as you can navigate to the connection using say make.powerautomate.com as well. I would say pick up from make.powerautomate.com. Now you'll get that same connection. So it's same, but I would advise you need to use from the make.powerautomate interface. So let me go into the connection over here, and you will find that same list of connection what was available in Power Apps. So I got this connection, I'll click on it, and then I will copy the URL. Copy the URL, put it in Visual Studio Code, that config.json file, paste it. And if you want to do a word wrap, just say view word wrap and see all whether you are whatever changes which you have made. Now we have made three changes. First is the name, the friendly name, which I put Girish MCP Dataverse. You can put any name. Connection URL, which we have copied from Power Automate and not Power Apps. Now, if you do not have a Dataverse connection, you need to create one, which I'll show you shortly. And then you need to copy the tenant ID. So these are the three things. Now in make.powerautomate.com, here we have copied the connection. Now think about it, like if you do not have any connections established for say Dataverse. Now I already had multiple connections, so I used one. But if you don't have that connection, you can click on new connection, and then from here you can click on Microsoft Dataverse or click on plus icon, and then it will establish that connection, and then you can click on that record and copy the URL. So this is how you can get the information. All right, so now we have save. Let's save this JSON file. So three changes. Click on save the JSON file, go to the Claude desktop over here. Now let me close this JSON file. Now you will not see that changes over here. Let me close this. Let me close the Claude tool. Now once you close the Claude tool, it will not exactly close. So maybe go to the task manager, and you will find this Claude services still running. You can go ahead and say maybe end task, and then the Claude service will completely close. Again, go back to the Claude and click on this hamburger icon, and now if your setting is correct, then you should see under settings under developer, yes, now I can see this Girish MCP Dataverse server, and it is currently running. Now why it is running? Because it has seen that we have already installed the package of Power Platform Dataverse.mcp, which we just did through the command prompt, and that's why it is able to have that connection. So now it is all successfully configured. Let's go to Claude again, and now here in the Claude, now I told you right at the start of the session, if you click on search and tool, you will see the third option. So you as use style web search, and now we can see Girish MCP Dataverse. Now you can have multiple Dataverse MCP server. We just configured one setting. So in that config file, if you create multiple items, say John MCP Dataverse or Jim MCP Dataverse, yes, you will see three items over here. Now, as you see, these are the 9 items. So if I click over here, I have an option to disable all the tools, enable all the tools. I can selectively enable whatever command I want, or maybe I will just say maybe enable all the tools. And let's see what all say query which I can perform on the Dataverse table record. So first question I would ask is maybe how many records. So let me maximize this tool a bit. Let's say how many records exist in airlines table. Now this is a bit confusing because I have got two airlines table within the system. So let's see if Claude is able to find that out or not. So if I let me show you over here in table, if I go to all, you can see that there are two airlines table. Let me go to custom and see airline and airline. So I'm just asking Claude how many records exist in airlines table and let it find the answer. Till the time it finds the answer, let me open the airline application which I have already built to show you how many record that airline application has. So let it sign in. And now as you see there are 27 rows, right? So now what has happened over here is like Claude says, oh, Claude would like to use an external integration. So these are the command which is currently I'm going to execute list underscore tables. I'll say okay, allow once. So it will list down the table which has the word airline in it. And now as you see, it knows that okay, I have got airline table in my context. Now I want to query select count star as record count from the airline table. Now if this is a read query action, again it will ask for permission. I will say okay, allow once, and then it will start querying, and then it will give you the response. Like I believe that was 27 records, so it will give you 27 records, yes. And this is the response. So if you want to see what all actions it has done a list table, it has done a read query, and it has given you the final record set. So this is how we have used a third party AI provided tool to query Microsoft Dataverse table. Now, if you want to see, say, schema, so I want to see schema for, say, airlines table. Schema means like what are the column name, logical name, the size, and all those things. So, if I want to get schema for airlines table, again, it will perform that action. This time, it is going to perform an action of describe table. I can either click on allow always or allow once. So let me put allow once so that I get that successive break and show it to you in action. So here are the schema definition for the airline table. So what are the key business fields? Okay. Then optional business fields, relationship fields. So it has given me nice segregation between the key business fields, the optional business fields, and the relationship fields. And it has given me the data type, and it has given me the email, the details as well. Now it has given me the analysis fields, image fields, display fields, system fields, and it says the table appears to be designed for managing airline companies. So it has given me a summary as well about what is this table is all about. So that's about describing the table. Now if you want to perform some other operation, I can say create a pie chart, or maybe let me see if it creates a donut chart or not. So let me see, create a donut chart for airline table with airline uh, with total number of aircrafts as parameter. Ignore rows with zero aircrafts. Let me put something around that. So create a donut chart. So it'll say I'll create a donut chart, and then it will say, oh, I need to reverse read through the query. So it has formed that SQL type query, and I'll say allow once. Then it will process the query, and then as you see, now I'll create a donut chart using the data. I notice that there are duplicate airline names. So it says that, oh, in within the table you have duplicate airline names. So I have a couple of American Airlines as a record. So it has identified that. Now it is writing that proper, it's the React component. And now it has started uh, adding those pie chart. So it's giving me basically a pie chart. So as you just scroll down, it is still configuring, and then it has given me a nice donut chart. So uh, top airlines by fleet size. So this is just like a some dummy record. So as you see, these are the donut chart which has been generated, and it has given me the statistics as well. And this is the legend, and it's given me the median fleet size, etc. So this is how it has generated this donut chart. I can say create a pie chart. um, uh, for create a pie chart for total staff in airlines table, and then it will again perform the operation. Now again it says your message will exceed the length limit for this chat. So what has happened over here is, like, as this is a free version, it will not allow me to perform this action. So for that, click on new chat, and then again uh, type in this information. So create a pie chart for total staff in airlines table, and then it will start generating that response. So the whole purpose is again, to have that integration point between Dataverse MCP and a third party AI solution. So start generating those record set, allow always, and then it will say perfect. I can see the airlines has a total staff column. It will generate the request response, read query. It has got the data. It will drop the artifact, and now it will import that pane. It'll create that React component, start writing the code automatically. So it is writing those codes. It will add that pie chart component in the responsive container in a div tag, and then it will render that HTML. So as you see, yes, this is the pie chart which it has generated, and there's a lot of legend over here. Largest employer, it has given you some summary as well. Largest employer, total airlines, average staff per airline, and what you can do with this artifact is, like, you can go ahead and publish. You can publish and copy the link, so that will go into the internet, or maybe you can download as a tsx file, and then you can even view the code, which code it has generated. So you can navigate to the code, and as you see, this is what you can get. All right, let me go again and click on new chat. And this time, what I'm going to do is, let me go into the application. Now, over here, I have 27 records, and let me see which airline I do not have. Maybe I don't have, say, maybe Southwest Airlines. So let me add Southwest Airlines over here. So I'll say create a record in airlines table with Southwest, with name as Southwest Airlines, and total staff as, say, maybe 5,000. Now it has got two airline table. Now it needs to distinguish where to insert the record. Now just by looking into the query, this is simple: create a record in airline tables, but it has got two table. The moment I add this column and specify that total staff as 5,000, now in one airline table I have total staff, in another airline I do not. So it will automatically identify that. So let's see that in action. So create a record in airlines table with name as Southwest Airlines. So it will first identify the airline. Now table name airlines. So it seems the airline table doesn't exist. Let me check what tables are available. Then it will see that I can see there are no airlines table, but there is Jacob underscore airlines table. Let me check the structure, and then it will say perfect. This has got total staff. It has identified, so that it has done that deep reasoning, and then it has identified that, okay, I'll create the record with Southwest Airlines and 5,000 total staff. And now it is running that insert command. I'd say not an insert but a create command, and now it has, with the correct GUID, and it has successfully created a new record. So it has done something else as well. So it has added a Southwest Airlines over here. It has put total stop, and it has assumed something like flying class main hub, because there are some mandatory fields, and it has estimated other fields. Okay. And the good part is, it has also given me the record ID. So it starts with B5 and ending with F5 as a GUID. So let's see that whether it has actually created or not. So if you go into the model driven app, which I've already created, so now, as you can see, there are 28 records, and we have added one airline, Southwest Airlines, and it has added some items over here as well. So this is how you can basically use the Claude tool to connect to Dataverse MCP server and allow user to perform operation. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching.